I'm so excited to see you tonight.
First date, baby. First date, I can't wait. First date.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of First Date with me as your host, Lauren Compton. You know my guest today from The League and Black Monday. He also hosts the podcast, How Did This Get Made and Unspooled. His new book, Joyful Recollections of Trauma, comes out May 21st. Give it up for Paul Scheer.
Thank you. By the way, I love your theme song. Did you ever date somebody that had too many Furbies?
I think that was me. I was projecting.
Okay, all right. I had a friend who we wanted to get her dating a little bit more.
Uh-huh.
And we had to get rid of some of her stuffed animals. There were too many stuffed animals in the room.
How many's too many?
Like so much so
like 4?
No.
Like 20.
Like 20 plus. Like a 20. Yeah, it was like a corner of the bed. You know how like sometimes you put these decorative pillows on the bed and you have to take them off before, which I don't like, but I understand. It was like that. You'd have to kind of sweep the bed of stuffed animals.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like she wasn't stunted, but she just had these stuffed animals.
And how did she take it when you tried to take them away?
Here's the thing. We did it while she was at work and we threw them all away.
That's fucked up.
Sorry.
And you're writing a book on joyful recollections of trauma?
Let me tell you something. She's married now with 2 kids.
Okay, so she owes you a thank you.
I mean, that's all I'm saying. Sometimes, look, I have 2 kids. And sometimes I go in their room when they're at school and I go through and I throw away their stuff. God. The same thing for their art. I love it. But I'm not going to keep all that shit.
You know, my mom did something really fucked up to me like that one day when I was at school. I had a pair of jeans that had holes in them.
Okay.
Like lots of holes.
Okay.
So many holes that you could see my butt crack.
Okay,
and
sure. But that's fashionable.
Yeah. So that was my point.
100%. Right, yeah.
And my mom, while I was gone, sewed up every single hole in my favorite jeans.
No.
And I could never, I couldn't even pull them over my knees.
First of all, can we just agree that jeans should never be sewn? I don't think that, it's not part of the thing. It's not like a fabric that you can sew back
I
together.
would have gotten jeans, whole jeans.
Exactly. Oh, I'm upset about that. You see, I understand my kids, so I know what I'm throwing away. I'm not trying to throw away things that they actually care about. If they haven't touched it in 6 months, it's the worst feeling. I remember, my mom did that to me, but she threw away, if you don't know, you have to be very specific, but I do it with my wife as well, which is her bedside table is disaster. It's just piled full of so many things. So what I'll do is when she's away, I kind of collect it and I put it away. And if she asks for it, I know where it is. But if she doesn't ask for it in 6 months, get that going because we don't need 12 New York Times crosswords.
You sound like a live-in butler.
I mean, look, I feel like that's what I can add to a relationship is just some gentle cleaning.
Well, great. I love that we're about to get into this. So you know that all of my questions are around dating.
Yes.
Great. Here are some appetizer questions. So how did you meet your wife? You are married to Diane Raphael.
Yes.
Yes.
And is that in the menu?
It is in my menu. I wrote these questions last night. I was like, I want to know all of these things about you.
I met my wife. We performed at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater, which is a comedy theater in New York, and there's also in LA. And she was doing a show called Rode Hard and Put Away Wet with Casey Wilson, who hosts Garbage Sesh and stuff like that. And so I saw the show, and my friend had asked me, "Hey, can you just go and help them because they want to get people's eyes on the show?"
Right.
And so I went and we had this really kind of it wasn't a date. It was just sort of we were talking about our show, but we connected. I don't know if you've ever had that kind of a moment where you're like, oh, this is different. This is a different
chemistry.
There's a chemistry going on. So, but at that time we had both gotten out of breakups and I was definitely nervous about I didn't want to get into a relationship because I don't know, I always feel like that's a danger. That first 6 months after you get out of a serious relationship is a danger zone. You don't want to get into another.
I've never waited 6 months to get back into a relationship.
Why? Wait, what were you doing? Where's your rehab? You need some rehab.
What? No,
yes.
Rehab will find its way along my life path.
All right, so you don't that person who's after what's your longest relationship?
7 years.
All right, 7 years. So after 7 years, you jumped into a relationship less than 6 months?
I had another boyfriend within 3 months.
Wow. And was that like a rebound?
For sure.
Okay. All right. So that like, I guess in my mind, it was like, I felt something with June that I was like, ooh, I don't want this to be a rebound. So I kind of backed off and she kind of backed off. And then we just flirted for about like a year. And we would like find each other at bars and like in and out of our lives.
You
like,
flirted for a year?
yeah. It was kind of because I was like, then like I started dating somebody and she was dating somebody. And then we just kind of like pass each other, hang out, pass each other. Yeah.
Did you even like her?
I did, but it was also like, it just felt like, I don't know. I like that we took it slow. We didn't really go out on a date until about like a year into like kind of seeing each other around, going off like in bars, just like talking for a long time. We were just doing our own thing. It's different than any other relationship I had been in.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a first date. Like we did have a first date that was wrecked by friends because we decided we were going to go out for dinner and then go dancing at this place. But then our friends met up with us. And we were just having this great time. It was like super nice. And we're at this little table in this like cool little French restaurant. And then our friends came in and they were like Red Bull vodka. They were ready to go.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh no, we're having this nice moment. But then we were like, okay, then we just kind of got sucked up into their date.
A hangout.
Yeah. And then, so that was our first date. But then it was able to kind of elevate.
And was this first date like the year later?
A year later, about a year later. I know, like, it's like, I know it's like, it wasn't like we were pining after each other, but it was like, I don't know. You ever have that person in your life where like, I like them. They're not my friend. But like, there's something here. Like, that's what it was. Like, like, and that's what I kind of felt like it was. It was like, there's something here. We just didn't have the time to dig it out.
Hold yourself back from just like going after someone though. Like,
I guess I think I was really reticent to jump back into a relationship. I write about this in my book a little bit actually, because I feel like I had fucked up a few of my relationships.
Mhm.
And I was like, all right, there's a problem here. And I can keep on blaming the other person or I could blame myself, which
Right.
is a harder thing to do.
yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. But if I took that time for myself, I'd like to go into my next like real relationship, like better.
Right.
And so I think part of it was that too. It's like, let me like figure myself out because I'm just going to keep on falling into, like I had like 3 repeats. It felt like it was like I had a relationship. It kind of was the same. It was good. Then it wasn't good. And then it kind of just like fell apart. And I was like, I don't want to keep on doing this. Like I have to figure out why I'm doing this. And so I feel like part of that distance was I liked her enough that I was like, let me do the work and then come into it.
Yeah, it sounds like you do ayahuasca.
I mean, oh. Yeah, no, I'm not like that. I'm not like that.
Because there's like a language associated with like people who are like really spiritual and do ayahuasca and like all this stuff. They're like, I did the work and like
That's an ayahuasca thing?
I mean,
I don't think it's only ayahuasca.
it's not only ayahuasca, but there's like the journey.
But by the
and
way,
work and
ayahuasca, you're not doing the work. You're just drinking something that gets
it's
you
drugs
super
that people
high.
call medicine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's like I did the work. I went to like this is my favorite thing.
No,
Like,
you blacked out.
Yeah, you blacked out and you pissed and you vomited all over the place.
You vibed, you vomited, you woke up.
Here's the thing I love about ayahuasca. I had a friend who went like I forget where you're supposed to go, but you travel, you go to this country.
The third dimension.
The third dimension. And like
Peru.
Peru. So he went to Peru and had this amazing experience. His life changed, truly changed after he went there. Then I have these other friends like, oh yeah, I go to my friend's house like in Ojai, or they have a pool and we like hang around the pool. I'm like, you're just doing drugs.
Yeah,
You're
just go to
doing
Palm
drugs.
Springs.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, great that you're doing drugs, but
Coke is more fun.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
do you think
don't.
Coke is fun?
My mom watches this show.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Got it. I won't press. Hi, Mom.
I like that with other drugs.
Sure.
There's not
I don't want
like
to get you in trouble now
like
with your mom.
I don't like mushrooms. They hurt my stomach.
Okay, yeah, I understand
Like
that.
I
Sure.
can't.
Yeah,
I've
a
never
mushroom-
even had but I don't like to trip.
Okay, I get that.
I like to be peppy.
Yeah, okay,
You
sure.
know, I like I'm into the Pomeranian like
Yeah, you're ready to go.
I want to go.
But it's like, okay, well, again, I can't because your mom is watching. But if like, say, if you were to imagine yourself, is that too much energy to be like?
Oh,
'cause
I
I
am
feel like-
so fucking annoying. Like the last thing I need is cocaine. You don't see a Red Bull here for a reason.
Right. I know. Well, it's like I'm aware of my own energy, and it's like, yeah, you don't want to like step it up that much.
I know.
You know, it's like you got to
Yeah.
keep it. It's like I understand what drinks to have at parties. Like there are parties I can go to where I'm like, I'm not going to drink really, and then there are parties like, well, then I'll drink. But it's like, but you have to like understand where those limits are because you know. Yeah.
Okay, let's get into our main course questions. So you've been in this relationship now for 20 years, right?
Oh my gosh, I guess so. Yeah, about 20 years. Yeah.
So I guess the weight, what was it? Like
The weight was worth
the
it was
saying?
worth the wait.
It was worth the wait.
Yes.
I don't know why that was so hard. So it was worth the wait. But when you're in a relationship for so long, how do you schedule a regular date night? What do you do to keep things?
No, 100%. Like I think the thing that people never tell you about like a functional good relationship is that it is hard, and I think it should be hard. Not hard in the sense of like, oh my gosh, but you have to like tend to it and keep it and grow it. It's like all these metaphors that may sound dumb, but like it is a garden. It's this thing where you're like, right, I have to make sure I can't take this person for granted. And like when you're busy and when you're stressed, and I think the biggest thing is for me is there's always peaks and valleys. Like there's moments and you have to just continue to talk with each other. And I think as long as you're not mean to each other, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be like, you can get into fights. You can have all the emotions, but just don't be mean.
Yeah.
You know, like aggressively mean. And then, yeah, like we have 2 kids. So we have to plan date nights and it's hard because sometimes you just don't want to plan a date night. I want to just like go to bed. I want to just like chill. And like we had tickets to go see Madonna last week, which was awesome. But then that night, June was like, I'm not going to go. And I was like, and it was like literally at 8:30. And I was like, well, I'm going to go. I just went to Madonna by myself. And
you went.
I had to go see Madonna. I was by myself.
Like, hey, bye, bitch.
I was by myself at the Madonna concert. And you know what? Like, I appreciated it. But she also wasn't mad that I went to go see Madonna. Like, that was our date night that she bailed on. But I mean, but you know, look, she was getting her period. She was like, I'm done. I'm not into going out to see Madonna. I was like, I get it. I'm there for you.
Yeah.
You know, and Madonna was great. It was a great show. It was a wild show.
So does she do anything that drives you nuts? Not Madonna.
Not Madonna. Madonna, well, I mean, man, you know, she's always just
It took her
about
so long to get off.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that like, you know, truthfully, the things that June does that drives me nuts, I also secretly like love about her. Like, you know, we're different people.
I can see how your relationship has lasted so long.
Because it's like, I love her for everything that she is. Like I love her and they're not flaws. They're just things that are different than me, you know? So it's like, the last thing I'd ever want to do is be in a relationship with someone who is like me. Like she doesn't like a lot of the stuff that I like. And that's great. And I'm happy with that. Cause it's like, I think the worst thing to do is date yourself. Like you don't want to date yourself. Like she keeps me on my toes. She keeps me like involved. But she will never wash a dish. And what I find about that's kind of aggressive is she will stack that sink like Tetris and load it up so much. We have a dishwasher right next to the
you're living
thing.
with a college student.
Yeah, and I'm like, I can't do that.
Let's be real. You're the domesticated wife in this relationship.
I think I am. I think I have those tendencies. I like my shit clean and like keep it together. Yeah. I'm gonna vacuum. I'm gonna wipe down that counter. I'm gonna do that stuff. You know, and everybody has that. Like, oh, what are you? Are you the messy person or the clean person in your relationship?
It depends on which part of the house we're talking about.
Okay, got it. So where are you clean? Where are you messy?
Super clean in the kitchen.
Got it.
I cook, I clean.
Love it.
And when it comes to clothes, I am a child. I will go through my closet. I will throw everything on the floor. I make piles. I'm terrible at cleaning up. I never sweep the floor. I'm not Cinderella.
I bought one of those stupid robot vacuum cleaners and I thought it was going to change my life and it didn't.
I'm afraid it would go swallow my dog.
Well, that's the other thing too. It scares the shit out of my dog. We have this small carpet, like a little runner in our kitchen, and it's like it gets snagged on that every. So all of a sudden, it's like I just hear whirring, and then I'm like the robot apocalypse is happening in my kitchen, and
Right.
all I wanted to do was like not pick up a broom.
So what do you think is the sexiest part about your relationship that you have?
I mean, to me, the sexiest part of my relationship with June, this is a good question. I mean, I think that my wife, like, I've seen my wife through, I mean, it's been 20 years, right? And I've seen her through different hairstyles. I've seen her different color hair. I've seen her pregnant. I've seen her every which way. And I find her to be the sexiest person ever, like always. Like, there's never a part, I'm like, I just, whatever changes, whatever's going on, I'm always like very, very attracted to my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's a good enough answer. I mean, but she's just like, I don't know. It's like, I feel like if we go out on a date tomorrow, it's like our first date. I feel like those kind of tingles, and I just love her laugh, and I love just being with her. So it's like, she read my book. I hadn't let her read my book until I really finished it, because I wanted her to like kind of see it done. And like hearing her laugh, like that made me the most. I'm like, I don't care if anybody else likes this. Like, that's the most important thing.
Yeah. I feel like I can ask you this question because you've been in a relationship for so long.
Sure.
So it's more of an advice question
Okay.
that I'm asking. So how do I ask this? How long in a relationship do you go without having sex before it becomes a red flag?
Oh, that's a good question. Like, all right, so a red flag, like,
You're worried.
oh, I think a lot of the times, like when you're talking about making room for having dates and stuff, like you have to like, there are a lot of things where it's like, oh, I don't want to do, like, I talk to people like, well, yeah, my wife and I, we know that every, Sunday is like our sex day. It's like, and I always like cringe at that, because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, it just seems like not
So scheduled.
Yeah, and it's like, then is it fun? And I think what I appreciate about that is that people are trying to be like, hey, we're going to make this a part of our relationship.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes, look, you can get busy. We have 2 kids. We're up in the morning. We're like going to fucking basketball games and soccer games, and we're doing all this sort of stuff. And it's like, and it can get like lost and just like, I just want to watch Traders, and like we'll watch Bravo and like go to sleep. Like there's like things like that. But I think that your body knows it. It's like hunger. It's like when you're hungry, it's like you're like when you get hangry. It's like once you get that, like whatever that sex is it sangry? Well, if you get like sangry, you're like, all right, we gotta do this. And sometimes it's like it doesn't have to be right, and it just has to be quick, and it just has to be like, we need to connect.
It has to be quick.
It just has to
You
be
can't
like
have your kids find out.
No, we just have to be like, you know what? We have a few moments, and this is where we got to do it. It's like you sometimes like romance or like a perfect moment is going out the window. And I feel like once you commit to like get it when you can get it and how you get it, whatever, like we'll do it. And I feel like, and then there'll be the highs and lows of that. You'll find your moments. But I feel like if you get to that like sangry part where you're like, oh, we're fighting a little bit too much, or we're getting on each other's nerves a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we just had sex in a while. Like that's
Yeah.
really what it is.
How old are your kids?
7 and 9.
Have they ever caught you guys getting it on?
No, God, no. I mean, that's the thing that like, that I will say I am aware of. I don't want, like, I'm like, I understand the emotional scarring that would do. And I'm like, I got to make sure things are locked and closed. And we got to make sure there's buffers there, because you don't want that. You don't want a kid going to therapy.
No, I don't think you would ever do it on purpose.
No,
that's why
but-
I'm saying, like,
But
has
that's
it
why,
happened
like,
on
that's
accident?
why you have to kind of like, just be like, yes, this is spontaneous, but hold on.
Yeah.
Let's lock it up. Like, let's keep it locked up.
Do you get jealous easily?
Yeah, I think I do. I mean, it's like I do and I don't. Like, because it's sort of like I understand that my wife and I have been together for 20 years, and then but like there are moments like, like we're both actors, and I think that she does too. She's she gets a lot more jealous of me than I do of her. But then sometimes like that little thing. It's like you just feel like, oh, who are they texting with? What's going on there? It's like nothing.
Yeah.
But you get like, it's a sort of like, I think whenever you feel like your partner's attention is like slightly off of you, you're like, what's going on there?
I feel like sometimes that can actually be good a little bit.
I agree too. I think it's like, 'cause it makes you like go like, look
it
at
checks
me.
yourself.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, the person that I'm with is sought after
Yes.
in a way.
I think it's good for you to feel like you want them to be like, it's like, there's always like, I think jealousy is good because like, no, I'm important. Pay attention to me. I'm glad that people think that you're attractive. Like there's this one guy who like hits on my wife so hard, but I think that like that's his like life aura. Is like, that's like, like him, like, he's just like, I'm like,
See, and you wonder why I think you do ayahuasca. His life aura?
I mean, like, it's like he just carries it. It's like he's just like, it's just like he's just gonna be like, hey, gorgeous, how are you? Like, I'm like, how are you? How would you deal with a person who's like, it comes in here like, hey, gorgeous, like that kind of like that energy to me is like, I can't deal with that kind of a person.
I give a good blank stare.
Okay, because it's like I feel like that's like it's too familiar, and it's like, and it's also like he's rocking having a brand new baby too, and I'm like, dude, just pull this shit.
Yeah,
pull this
just
shit out.
take your stroller somewhere else.
Yeah, it's like, I don't need that energy. It's like,
Yeah.
you got it. You got a kid. Like, let's just.
And
we're
they
all
work
here.
together.
They have.
So he's just copying you.
Yeah.
He's like, I've seen this work before.
I just think it's
She's
a weird.
into men she works with.
Yeah,
Maybe I have a chance.
This is it. I mean, I just think it's a weird thing to like throw out super, like, to be aggressively flirty, or like as a personality trait when you are I think with maybe married people, like, because it's different. It's different when younger. It's
Yeah.
whatever. It's a whole other thing. But it's like,
That's just rude.
it's a lot. It's a lot. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
Yeah, fuck that guy. So I have a tasting menu
Yes.
for you.
All right.
So with this, we go through it really fast, and
Okay,
you
sure.
just tell it's a this or that.
This or that. Got it.
So you tell me off the
Okay.
top of your head.
All right.
Are you ready?
I am.
Mohawk or mullet?
Mohawk.
Boxers or briefs?
Boxers.
Spearmint or peppermint?
Peppermint.
Do we like pineapple on our pizza?
No.
Mm.
Or I mean, yeah.
no,
I mean,
no, stick with no. I like you more.
Okay, great.
Favorite position?
Standing. No. No.
Bent over the counter.
Yeah. Anything where there's angles. A lot of.
Manicure or pedicure?
Pedicure.
Favorite car?
I like a VW bus.
Ooh, I always see flower shops in those.
Yeah, well, there's this new one called the VW Buzz, and it looks kind of cool. It's like an
Yeah.
electric VW bus. I'm like,
Okay, I'm
into it.
here for that.
All right,
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Best music to have sex to?
Oh, that's a great question. I feel like nothing too sexy. Like I don't know. Like I like nothing where the words are too out there.
You're like an audiobook.
Yeah, well, like I don't want like, hey, what's going on? Like I don't need you to be like I don't want that. I want like something that's like more mood, like a mood song. Something that like somebody is like a Spotify playlist that somebody might put together who works at a strip club. I think is like a good.
Okay.
Yeah.
God.
I think there's plenty of Spotify
Yeah,
playlists you can
I
find.
think that's a great way to describe it.
Yeah.
What's the oldest thing in your fridge?
Probably like some sort of condiment, ketchup or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, soy sauce.
I feel like ketchup, you can have that for 20. You probably have the same bottle
Yeah,
from
you
when
got
you
to
met.
keep it
June.
in there. Let's go. Yeah.
Karaoke or dancing?
Dancing,
Mix match socks or matching?
matching.
Thong or granny panties?
Thong, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Alpha or beta?
Alpha.
Deep dish or thin crust pizza?
Ooh, thin crust, but it'd be like New York thin crust, not like kind of weird. When you said thin crust, I'm like, I don't know what that means. So, I mean,
To me, thin crust is like when you go to one of the Italian restaurants that has a wood fire pizza.
and it's like that. Okay, then I'm
oven.
gonna go deep dish.
It's like kind of thick on the
Yeah,
outside.
I don't like that.
You like deep dish?
I like New York style, like fold it pizza.
Yeah.
And
To go, like at the window.
yes, exactly.
I got
Yeah.
you. Favorite cocktail?
A tequila and tequila straight up.
Okay. Like what kind of are you doing like 1941?
Yeah, I do
Is it
like a
1941
1940.
or 1942?
It's either one.
I don't know
it's
what
like,
year it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
It's a really
like,
fancy,
I know the
fancy
bottle.
bottle.
I also like this bottle called Clase Azul, where it has like a little bell on top. You can ding it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
You have a ring there that would be good
I
for
know,
that
yeah.
too. Built-in dinger.
It is. It's perfect.
Goldfish or Cheez-Its?
Wait, what was the first one?
Goldfish?
Oh, goldfish, Cheez-Its.
Well,
I thought you said cold fish or Cheez-Its, and I was like, wow, I didn't even know about
yeah,
goldfish.
yikes. Star Wars or Harry Potter?
Star Wars.
Botox or wrinkles?
Wrinkles.
Yikes. Lights on or off?
On.
Okay. Ghosts or aliens?
Ghosts.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I'm an introverted extrovert.
And what the fuck is that?
It's like somebody who is like, I want my alone time. I want that like space, but I also really love going out. Like it's like, but then I feel like then I'm depleted and I'm like, now I want to be like locked off. Like I will having fun, and now I'm checked out. Like lights are off.
Yeah. East Coast or West Coast?
East Coast.
Favorite flowers?
I like a tulip.
I love tulips. Hair up or down?
It depends. I'll say up.
Thanks. Sweet or savory?
Savory.
Leather or lace?
Lace.
I like lace more too.
You know, it's like
A little bit
it's
more
like
feminine.
yeah, right. It's nice.
Yeah. Shower or bath?
Shower.
Morning bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Okay.
Now you made a face when you said Botox or wrinkles. Now here's my thing.
I'll always make that face.
Because like I think as a man, I don't have to worry about it. Ultimately, I don't think. Who knows? Maybe I do. But I would imagine when you have to like walk this line of like where like because it's like I always get nervous like you don't want to overdo it. Can you undo it? You can't undo it.
No, it only lasts for 3 months. It's not
Oh,
permanent.
really? Okay, all right.
It
All right.
fades.
Okay, it fades. All right. Then I just feel like there are so many like beautiful women who like look like older women, and I feel like that's a rare, nice thing. I think it's like finding that balance. That's what I always find. I feel like we put too much like, emphasis on older women looking like younger women, and I think it's really beautiful to see like a nice older woman like just like age.
The thing with plastic surgery and stuff is if you get it done right,
And
you really
early.
shouldn't tell. You shouldn't
Right,
be
yes.
able to necessarily see
But
the
then-
work done.
But then don't you see people, and this is where I won't call anybody out, but like you see people and you're like, you have a lot of money. You should have been able to like not get to this point where I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, there's a balance.
Yeah.
I don't know who Scheer goes to,
Right.
but she's a vampire.
Yeah.
And she's got whoever is working on her is nailing it. She's looked the same her whole life.
See, and I think that's the benefit of doing a little bit early.
Yeah, she's great.
And then you get in there and boom, 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 you know.
So for my final question, my dessert question.
Yes.
How did you propose to your wife?
Okay, so I wanted to plan something special, and as an introverted extrovert, I wanted to do it like privately. I wasn't going to hire a photographer. I wasn't going to like do it around a bunch of people. So I had planned this night where like it was like a 2-part event where I was like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take her away, and we're going to go to like this cool little beach town like up in California, and I spent the whole day like kind of casually talking about our relationship. Like, hey, so the whole day was like this kind of great thing. We went out to dinner, and now my wife is a one event person. I don't know if you're like this, but like it's like it's not like a dinner and a movie. It's like dinner or a movie. It's like she's not gonna do.
She's not a
two
bar
things.
hopper.
No, I mean, and we're older now too, so it's like like things have changed. But so I always know like if I have to take her to a second location, I really have to make sure like I get it in early. So like casually that day, I was like, hey, do you want to like go to this beach? I hear it's really beautiful. And she's like, okay, yeah. And then we got dinner. I was like, let's go to that beach. And she's like, do we have to? And I was like, and I'm like, oh shit, this is my whole plan. My whole plan is this. So I was like, come on, it'll be fun. It's on the way home. And she's like, so I got her to commit to going to the beach. And I had this ring. And what they don't tell you about like the ring is, you always have this thing of like, bam, you open up the ring and it's like, hey, there it is. But that ring box is fucking bulky. How do you keep that on my person? There's no way to keep, unless I have like a briefcase. So I had my ring like wrapped up in a sweatshirt and I was like kind of hiding it. And we got to this beach and there's bonfires. It's beautiful. And it's like a gorgeous night. And, as we walk on the beach, I start my proposal. And I'm like, I get down on one knee and I say, will you marry me? And she's like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, what?
Oh my.
And I had this moment. I was like,
That's the oh shit
The
moment.
oh shit moment. I like popped up I popped up in an instant, and that ring disappeared like I was a magician. I was like gone, and I realized in that moment my wife thought I was doing a bit, like I was like fake proposing to her because we didn't talk about like marriage or anything, and I had gotten a ring and I'd done all that stuff, and she had no clue at all. So I like took her by such surprise, and her first instinct was like she was mad that I was like being a dick.
She thought, how long had y'all been together?
We got married, I guess when I asked her, probably 4 years or so.
So y'all were together for 4 years.
Yeah,
and
4.5 years. Yeah.
Had you joked about getting married before?
Not really joked about. Like, we just sort of like, oh yeah, we're not getting it was just like one of those things where you like didn't really talk about getting married, but we did like. It was like we were talking about it, but it's like, well, you don't want to get married. Well, I mean, I'm okay. Do you want to get married? Well, I don't. I'm just like,
dude, my boyfriend gets on one knee to tie his shoes, and I'm like, I do. That's so crazy that she thought you were kidding. So, okay.
And
how did this end?
So she's like there, and then I think there was just this moment where she's like, is it a bit? And I was like, no, I'm being real. And then it was like this moment, I think that like, it was like a wave just kind of hit her. And she was like, and I think she took it all in, like, and then she realized, like, oh wait, you got a ring. That is a real ring. Like, 'cause I don't think she even saw the ring.
Y'all have been in Hollywood way too long. She's like, that's a prop.
I think she just didn't understand. Like, I think I the one thing about June is she can be very easily scared and spooked, and you can trick her and make fun. You know, it's like I've done stuff where we were cleaning out the garage and I found like this old Halloween mask, and I was talking to her and we're just talking like this, and I just had my back turned, I put that mask on and I turn, and she's like, ah, and like, you know, so it's like, you know, she gets scared like that. So I think the ring just surprised her, and we started talking on the beach, and then she realized it was real, and she was like, yes, yes. And it was sort of, I went through every emotion you could possibly go through in like 45 seconds. And then, you know, we kissed, and as we kissed on the beach, I hear this like kid go like, get a room. And I turn, and there's like this fucking 12-year-old kid sitting on a bluff going like, get a room. And I was like, all right, get out, chill out. So that was how we did it. And then we were so excited. We went back to the hotel. We're like, we're engaged. And like the night clerk at the hotel was like, do you need anything? Like, no. I was like, okay, all right. And then we like went up. It's like, yeah, it's weird. It's weird to be like, and then you have to call everybody and tell everybody that you got engaged. But so it was great. It was awesome.
That's so great. That's a great story.
Well, thanks, and I'm glad that she said yes.
Yeah, me too.
It's a nerve-wracking thing because I don't want to be one of those people, and maybe you are one of these people, so I don't want to be the people who are like, hey, what kind of ring would you like? And then we go shopping together for rings, and then you pick out a ring, and then I just like secretly buy it, and then I give it to you at one point. Like, I feel like I'd rather strike out with a choice with the ring than like have you pick out the ring, like, or give you a dummy ring. I don't want you to like be like, I know he's got that ring. He's going to propose to me. I'm like, that just seems like, then what are we doing here? Like, what, oh, I'll give it to you when it's right. I'm like, fuck all that. I want it to be like it should be like this moment. Like, it should be a thing.
Yeah. It sounds like it was a thing.
It was a thing.
I love it.
You know, it almost backfired.
But you got it.
I got it.
So where can people find you?
They can find me on social media, wherever you get your social media, at Paul Scheer. And my book, Joyful Recollections of Trauma, comes out in May, but you could pre-order it now, and apparently that's a very big deal with the book world. You have to pre-order these.
Where do you order it?
Everywhere. You can go to your local bookstore, you can go to Amazon, you can go to Barnes & Noble, whatever you want. And the first 3,000 people who do a pre-order can go to my website, and I'm sending out postcards. And I've wrote out 2,000 postcards so far.
Oh my gosh, you're handwriting them?
I'm signing them, personalizing postcards. I think there's only a couple more slots left, but I slightly regret it, but it also has been like a crazy thing.
That means a lot to the people that are receiving them, though.
Well, I feel like, look, I love that people have listened to our podcast and support me, and they go out and they're buying this book, and it's important to me. It's like, I'm like, well, I want to, like, if you're going out and buying this book early, like, I want to make sure that, like, I say thank you to you. And my wife's like, the thank you is the book. I'm like, no. I'm like, I want to, like, it's nice. I do love it. I just didn't realize how, like, it sounds weird to say, but my hand hurts after writing so many things.
Carpal tunnel.
I know. It's like really, it's intense. But you know what? Look, I put a I put a marker through a tennis ball, and it all feels good now.
That's great. Well, thank you for coming on my
Thank
show.
you so much,
I really
yeah.
enjoyed it.
I loved it. It was
Love
great.
to have you back for a second date anytime
Please,
that you're in
this
town.
is
Let me
amazing.
know.
I'm glad that I passed the first date test.
Yes, of course. Thank you for coming on. Thank
Thanks.
you guys for watching another episode. We will see you next time.
First date, baby.
Are you really drinking a glass of milk with dinner?
First date, I can't wait.
You told your mom about me?